Okay, apparently I'm live. Just realized that was open. The reason why I'm in shorts, by the way, is because I actually haven't organized at all. This is behind the scenes of any live stream. Just throwing things everywhere so I can block them with my body. So, hello everyone. How are we all doing today? The Kickstarter has just been funded. I'm actually just finishing the update as we speak because I needed to press live on YouTube so I can grab the link. Let me just 1 second. It's been a very, very hectic. I have about 1 million tabs open right now. This is the first time I'm using YouTube streaming without any other software, literally just YouTube and a webcam. I didn't have time to set anything up because I only had the idea for this live stream. I only had the idea for this live stream just a few days ago, in fact, because I was listening to a how does one get a link here? Let me just check this. Okay, here we go. I should be able to shareable link. There we go. There we go. Right, okay, so if I just add that onto... Actually, I haven't even checked the final back account yet, which is kind of crazy. I've been so busy. I think that's good to go. I think that update's good to go. It's just kind of like a raw update. I didn't plan it out or anything like that. I just wanted to share my gratitude and everything. So, I mean, that's kind of what this whole stream is for. 102 backers. That's crazy. I think it was like 13 minutes to go. We were struggling to get 100, and we finished with 102. That is crazy. That is crazy. Right. Okay. Anyway, let's get all back over to the chat. How are we all doing today? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every single backer. If there's any problems with the audio, by the way, let me know. I'm going to go through every single backer on the Kickstarter list, and I'm going to just thank them. And if there's anything that are cool which I've seen them do during the campaign, I will mention that. And I know there are some friends there as well. Anybody that's play tested the game, I will obviously mention them as well. Even more so. And yeah, I also a video is I think still unlisted on the YouTube channel. I'll make that public later, but I did make a link to it in the updates that I just posted. A video just appreciating the playtesters specifically as well. So that is really cool. Let me just post it in the Discord. I forgot to post it in Discord. At everyone, our backers actually. Don't want to at everyone all the time. The campaign is over. Thank you all so much for backing. We did it. 102 backers. Crazy. Okay. I am now on YouTube doing a backer appreciation stream. Hopefully the keyboard isn't too loud. Okay, really good. So that's done, and yes, I'm just going to go through everyone now. I'm not going to show the screen because I'm only going to say first names, and it feels weird to show how what everyone has backed essentially. But if some, I'm gonna say reward tiers, reward levels, not just but not specific amounts of money. That might sound like a weird sort of line in the sand, but that's just the way I'm going to do it. Yes. Okay. Cool. Right. So let's get started. It's weird to see that the campaign page is over. Okay, it looks so different now. So yeah, that's really cool. Anyway, so let's go over. So cool. I'm just having a look. Let's start with the very first backer. The very first backer. So did the very first backer change between the first campaign and the second campaign? Because people don't know, this is the second campaign of Food Time Battle in Space, because the first one ended up not funding. It got cancelled before it could finish because we went through a manufacturer change. Where did it go? He went up there. Come back down here, please. Thank you very kindly. Get my face back up there. Beautiful. And so, yeah, the first backer in the original campaign, I will say, because it's pretty cool that you got first backer, but it failed, so I thought I'd shout them out anyway, is Nomich. They are active on the Discord quite a lot, and they actually have their own studio. And they have they are not running a crowdfunding campaign currently, but they did for a game called Execution. It didn't get funded, but it's a crime that it didn't get funded because it looks really, really, really fun. And they're doing a cool thing, kind of like what we're doing, but we're not using Chinese manufacturers to make the games. Nomich specifically is using American manufacturers, while I am using UK based. So that's cool. But the first backer for this game is J Brown 36. J Brown 36 is someone who has commented on almost every single update regarding the names of the critics, and has just stayed a constant voice in the community, which has been super cool. If you've got a name on the Discord which you joined, but it's a different name to J Brown 36, because there isn't someone called J Brown 36 in the Discord, make sure to let me know, so I can sort of put the two names together and the two people together. Secondly is Jose. Jay Brown was the first person to back for the campaign, and also backed at the Become a Critic pledge, which only 10 people could back at. So a lot of these people in the early stages backed at the Become a Critic pledge, because obviously with only 10 slots, you kind of want to do that straight away. Next is Jose, who backed the £30 Food Time Battle in Space plus Blockers pledge. Thank you very much. Quite a few people backed at the Blockers pledge, which is really, really interesting. I wasn't expecting so many people to actually want a copy of Blockers as well, because Blockers has been available for a while on Etsy and stuff like that. But we did offer it at a cheaper price here. So that was really cool. Then we got Lewis. Lewis is one of the two main playtesters for Food Time Battle in Space. He pledged a generous tip. And him, along with someone which I will mention in two more pledges, were sort of integral to the balancing and just the overall enjoyment of Food Time Battle in Space. So if you enjoyed the game, you got them to thank. So Lewis, thank you for the £1. And then we have Dina. Dina is really cool. She pledged a generous tip as well. She has put me in contact with so many people in the industry. She is attached to the game called Dawn, which you might have seen on Kickstarter if you were looking throughout Kickstarter over the past few days, past few weeks, sorry. And she's really cool. She put me in contact with Tabletop Express, and which I did a podcast with recently. So thank you very much, Dina. Then we have Alex. Alex pledged for the Become a Creative pledge, so the second one now. These first 20 pledges were all within the space of, I think, like 9 minutes. I got 20 pledges, which is just so cool. It was so surreal at the time, because I was posting it all over social media, and after a couple of minutes, when I finished the post on one particular page, like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I'd go back to the page and it jumped up loads, and I'd go back and I'd come back, and it was an insane first 10 minutes of the campaign. That was really, really cool. And it was just showing like how great the community is, that they all stuck with me from the first campaign to this one. But Alex is the other playtester. No, I said there was two, Lewis and Alex. Those two are the reason why Food Time Battle in Space is so fun and balanced to play. So thank you very much. Next, we had Jed, who is actually the first backer at the regular base pledge, which is really interesting to think about. Backed up for Food Time Battle in Space. Then we have Jack Colton, who, again, backed at the Become a Critic pledge. Thank you very much, Jack. I hope you do enjoy your critic portrait. Those will start to be worked on. After this live stream, I'm going to be sending a message out to every single backer who pledged at that tier, and we're going to get the ball rolling on. Sorry about that. Going to get the ball rolling on some critic pledges. Get them done on some Become a Critic pledges. Then we have Meg, who pledged for no reward. We have a few. Sorry about that. We have a few people that pledged for no reward and just wanted to pledge a bunch of money. These people are that I know in real life. Meg is my partner. Thank you very much for pledging for no reward. Not going to say the specific amount, but thank you very much. Next, we have. There's a couple of names which I'm very worried about pronouncing in this one. So Thibaut, Thibaut. I assume it's French. I'm not too sure. But thank you very much for pledging for a copy of Food Time Battle in Space, the regular pledge. Next, we have my brother, Oliver Crabtree. I'll say his full name because my last name's Crabtree, who pledged for the Become a Critic pledge. It's really cool to have like sort of family involved in the game, and having him in the game is really cool. I'm not going to be in the game, but he is. That's actually quite interesting. But yeah, he pledged to Become a Critic pledge. Thank you very much. Then we have Nomich, who was the first backer on the first campaign. Thank you very much, pledging for the regular Food Time Battle in Space game. And then we have Kieran Jones, who pledged for the FTBS plus blockers. Thank you very much, Kieran. It's actually quite funny. Me and Kieran met on Facebook. We met on Facebook because I was buying, I think it was Marvel Villainous. I was buying Marvel Villainous off him on the Facebook Marketplace. And we got talking. I can't remember why, but we got talking about, I can't remember what other game it was, but it was a game that was similar to Food Time Battle in Space. And I just sort of dropped the hint. I was just like, oh, I'm actually working on this game, Food Time Battle in Space. And I'm very surprised, but he was very, very interested in supporting me. Which has been really cool. Kieran has been one of the one of the few. There's quite a few people in this backbone, but he's been one of those people in the backbone of the campaign and the community that this campaign has built. So thank you very much, Kieran. Then we have Chris Wilson. Chris Wilson is a guy he's probably the sort of like longest running supporter outside of my immediate friend group. After in a second, I'm just going to take a quick break just to tweet about this live stream. But yeah, Chris Wilson, we met at Play Expo in 2019 when I was showing off the original version of blockers. That was quite a while ago now, actually. Oops, sorry. That's fine. The Fodsley just texted me saying it's met the goal. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm live streaming as well. Anyway, so yeah, we met at Play Expo, and he just loved the game blockers, and he's just been like an avid supporter ever since. Every single campaign we've done, he's been there, and it's just been really, really cool to just have some people like that are just really, really into the community, and that's good. And the reason why I'm taking a break to tweet about it is because Chris Wilson follows on Twitter, so I just wanted to make sure that he knew about it. So the campaign has finished. We did it with 102 backers. I'm live now with a backer appreciation live stream over on YouTube. Come join. There we go. I should have done all this beforehand, but it's just been so completely hectic. It's been absolutely insane. Right. So moving on. So then we have Richard. Richard pledged at £15. The Food Time Battle in Space £15 pledge. Thank you very much, Richard. Then we have Cliff, who also pledged at the same level for Food Time Battle in Space, just a base pledge. And then we have Elise. Elise has been there almost since the. It's been a part of the Crab Studios Discord essentially since its inception. Elise goes to the same university that I do, and she has supported this game as well as the next game that I've been working on by playtesting quite a lot, and also just being very active in the Crab Studios community. And she pledged for FTBS, so Food Time Balance Space plus blockers. Thank you very much, Elise. I do really appreciate your continued support. Next, we have Toby. Toby pledged at the regular Food Time Balance Space pledge level, and Toby has been one of those other people that have been commenting on every single post. So that has just been absolutely amazing. That these people are just so invested in having their say in what the game turns out to be, and it's just so cool that all these backers have had says in literally every single new critic into the game, like what their name's going to be, and just other things about their personality as well that I can gauge from how they're voting on what names the characters should have. And all this is important because it's not at the forefront of the game, it never is, but it's important to the characters, and it's going to be on, it's most likely going to be on the Crab Studios on my website. I'm going to break down the lore. I'm probably going to create a sort of like world Bible type thing for Food Time Battle in Space, because it is a series which I want to continue to pursue, and there is an interesting world there, an interesting environment. It's just like sort of like digging for the gold that's already there kind of thing. Hey, Ed, how are you doing? Hey, my boy, be looking fire. Thank you very much. I'm actually quite sweaty at the moment, as you can probably tell. It is, all of a sudden, England today has decided to be, what is it, 17, 18 degrees right now, when the last week has not even been above 10 degrees. So that's why I got my shorts on. I've become a summer Nile now. That's what I've told everyone. And now summer Nile. So yeah, thank you for saying I'm looking fire. But yeah, thank you, Toby, once again. Then we have Samantha. Samantha is from Drop Dead Fun Games. They made what's it called? A Murder on the Card. Sorry, for some reason I wanted to call the game Murderous Intent, even though that's almost not the same name at all. But Murder on the Cards, very great game. Very, very good graphic design and visual design in that game. It is very clean to look at, and she's helped me quite a lot actually with finding the right manufacturer, which is one of the main reasons why I relaunched the campaign, and also just being a big inspiration to me. So thank you. Then we have Nicholas for the Food Time Battle in Space £15 pledge. Thank you very much. Next we have Lauren for the Become a Critic pledge. How many is that now? That is, I think that's about half gone, isn't it? Something like that. But thank you very much, Lauren. Hope you do really enjoy your pledge, your critic portrait. Everyone, by the way, everyone who gets a critic portrait pledge will also get the portrait itself to do whatever you want with. It will be in the game, and so when your copy of the game arrives, you'll be able to see your cool little card, which is in the game, and which is in everyone's game, and it's in the game forever. But on top of that, you also will just get a PNG file of the actual illustration, so you can do with that whatever you want. Turn it to coasters, do whatever. That is yours to do with whatever you want. Next, we have two people who backed a generous tip. That is Heather and Eric. Thank you very much. Then we have Cheryl. I know it says Shirley then. Cheryl, who backed at the £15 Food Time Battle in Space pledge. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Then we have Billy, who did the same, £15 at the £15 level, should I say. Next, we have Maverick. Thank you very much. Maverick is he backed at the £15 level. Maverick is such a cool guy. He is responsible for the Dutch translation of the rulebook, which is available on the Kickstarter in PDF format. If you are so inclined to be speaking Dutch at any particular time or reading Dutch, then you can check out that on the page. We'll probably make it available on the website as well. But yeah, that's there. Thank you very much. That is, I need to make a big deal out of this. I almost didn't then, but I don't know if you'd want me to or not. But having a backer come to you, a couple of other backers did this, but no one actually ended up following through. But Maverick did. Maverick came to me and said, I want to make a Dutch rulebook, a Dutch translation of the rulebook for this game, because I really like this game, and I think that other people who might not speak English might like this game as well. So and that speak Dutch, not and some other language, that'd be really weird. So he just made it for free, and I didn't pay him anything, and he didn't ask for any money. He just made it, and that's just incredible to see that someone in the community will be that just interested and passionate about something which I made. Well, I didn't really make it. Everyone in the community made it, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this live stream. So thank you very much. Next, we have a bot pledge, the Creative Fund to buy back a kit. Thank you very much for the £1, I guess. I assume you didn't have any idea that you did that, because I think it's just one of those bot ones. Next, we have Andrew, who pledged at the £15 Food Time Battle in Space. Thank you very much, Andrew. I really do appreciate it. After that, we have Dice Sports, who pledged £1, the generous tip, sorry. And they are the people who are actually going to be manufacturing the game. So thank you very much for that little bit of support. That really did help. Literally every single back counts. That's why I made the last stretch goal, and that's what I'm probably from the next campaign. I didn't have the right frame of mind when starting this campaign. At the start of this campaign, I thought I knew everything, but I never know everything, because I always learn stuff. I should never be focused on how much money is going into the project, how much is funding the project. What I need to concentrate on is how many backers and how many people are in this community, and just the quality of the community. And that's why the last stretch goal for this campaign was a backer-based stretch goal rather than value-based, unlike the other ones. So, yeah, Dice Sports and everyone else who just gave a generous tip, is very, very appreciated. So thank you very much. Next, we have John, who backed at the Food Time Battle in Space pledge, same as Mia, who backed at the Food Time Battle in Space pledge as well. Thank you very much, the base pledge. Hopefully you will enjoy your games when you get them. Same with Samson as well for Food Time Battle in Space, the regular pledge. Thank you very much, Samson. Then we have Matthias, who backed at no reward. Next, we have Scott. Scott has helped me massively because he is a game designer as well. He actually play tested Food Time Battle in Space quite a bit. Not as much as some other play testers, but he did have quite a lot of input, and his input was very, very valuable because he was the one that helped me with quite a bit of the visual design, as well as some balancing for specific cards. So thank you, Scott. Next, we have Simon. Thank you very much for the pledge of Food Time Battle in Space, the regular base pledge. Next, we have Thomas, who also backed at the same pledge level, the regular base pledge level. Then we have Stephen. Stephen backed for the Become a Critic pledge. I'm pretty sure interesting enough, sorry, let me just take a drink. My throat's getting dry. I haven't talked this much because of COVID in ages. That's like, I haven't spoken to anybody in years. It has technically been, it's only just been a year and a bit, actually, so I don't know if you can actually call that years. But yeah, most people who backed at the Become a Critic pledge, especially in the first day, because some people, it went over, and not everyone claimed the final critic, the Become a Critic pledge slots, even though there was only 10 of them. Not everyone claimed them straight away. But most people who did were people who backed at that level in the first campaign, because they snatched it up and it went really quickly in the first campaign, even though we didn't fund. And so people were obviously like, okay, that went really quickly. People who didn't get it last time will probably want it this time. So a lot of them who backed for this campaign at the Become a Critic pledge also backed at the last one, because they had to get there really quickly, and they knew that. But some managed to sneak in, such as Stephen. So, Stephen, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Then we have Chris. Chris is from the Unicorn Collective, behind games such as Weird Alchemy and also Fractured Galaxy on Kickstarter. Weird Alchemy is a published card game, and it's really, really cool. Got great art. I was actually going to work with the artist behind Fractured Galaxy at one point, but that didn't end up coming to fruition. Not behind Fractured Galaxy, sorry, behind Weird Alchemy, where that didn't end up happening. But that was he's just a really cool guy. He's helped me out loads. I've been on his podcast that he used to run, and he's just a really cool guy. So if you ever find an opportunity to support Chris and the Unicorn Collective, please do. He's a friend of the studio. Next, we have a Denise. Thank you very much for the generous tip. Next, we have David. David backed for the base pledge for Food Time Battle in Space. Thank you very much, David. Then we have Adam Ross, who is another person that backed at the Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers. Great to see people interested in previous Crab Studios games as well. I'm glad I could offer it at a discounted price and just help towards funding for the next game. It's really cool to see that previous games can help fund the next one, and so on and so on. It's like building that community, keeping it going, and just making a great community. So thank you, Adam. Then we have Jamie. Jamie backs for the regular base pledge. Thank you very much, Jamie. Then we have Ashley. Ashley is actually one of my tutors at university. When I first made the sort of like visual prototype of the game, it started off as a visual design project, Food Time Battle in Space, if you didn't know. It started off as a visual design project back in January of 2020. So it didn't actually get any gameplay until about July. That's when I started putting gameplay to the game, because it originally was just a visual design assignment. And he told me, and he told the rest of the class actually, which was really nice, that if this ends up being on Kickstarter, because at that time I already had published another game on Kickstarter, what he told me in the summer of last year, that if it does end up being on Kickstarter, they would back it. And he was true to his word. He backed it, and he also backed it, and he also got blockers as well. So thank you very much, Ashley. That is greatly appreciated. Next, we have Paul, who backed a generous tip. Thank you very much, Paul. Next, we have Harvester 05, who backed for the base pledge for Food Time Battle in Space. Thank you very much. Next, we have Sarah, who backed for £15. The £15 pledge for Food Time Battle in Space. Sarah is really, really cool. She's one of my mentors currently on my enterprise year course. I'm currently taking a year out to focus on this business, on the studio, and she's one of my mentors and one of my tutors there. And if you want to go check her out, you just search Sarah Dragon's Den, and it should come up. She's the one that makes the emoji pillows, and she was on Dragon's Den, and she had an amazing business, and she's just such a cool and qualified. I'll describe her as cool and qualified. So thank you very much for all the support you've given me, and also for the pledge. Thank you. Next, we have Mosu for the £15 Food Time Battle in Space base pledge. Thank you very much. Next, we have Simon, who backed for FBS plus blockers. Thank you very much, Simon. Then we have Kenny and Dirk, who backed for a generous tip. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me that generous tip. Like every single backer, no matter how much money you gave or what reward you pledged at, are all equal. Like each and every one of you made it possible for this to be a thing, and it's insane to think that we got 102 backers at the end of it. That was crazy. Next up, we have Steve, who backed for Food Time Battle in Space, the base pledge. Thank you very much, Steve. It's greatly appreciated. Then we have Amanda and Jared. I'm saying them both at the same time because I know they are at least related, but they both backed again, because they backed last time as well in the previous campaign, for Food Time Battle in Space plus Become a Critic. So it's going to be really cool seeing those two people's cards together. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to message them more in depth to see if they want to be in the same restaurant and that sort of thing, because that would be cool to find out, because I don't actually know their actual relationship. Anyway, then we have Tim, who backed for Food Time Battle in Space ×2. The first person to back Food Time Battle in Space ×2. I was actually expecting more people to do that. I think at that pledge level there was only 2 or 3 people who did it. That's fine. Either way, I'm not like salty about it or anything. Of course, I'm grateful for every single person who did. But I think it was just because the game was already so reasonably priced that no one thought that they needed to buy 2 as a group. purchase, because some people on Kickstarter do group purchases. Like if a game is usually if it's like £30 or like £40 or whatever, but then they offer like 2 games for, let's say it's £40, but they offer 2 games for like 65. Then that's a significant discount, enough for 2 people who might not live together, who might not live near each other, to go in together on the same pledge, and then whoever gets it, this gives it to the other person at some point. But because the game is so affordable already, I don't think many people were that bothered about it. Another thing that's cool about Tim, I know Tim in real life, but what's even cooler is that he was the decider between the infamous Johnny or Jagger critic. One of the critics early on in the campaign. Was a cool guy, blonde hair, glasses, kind of looked like Johnny Bravo. Was up for like voting, like what's his name going to be. And I had no idea that Johnny and Jagger would be so close together. I really like the name Jagger, but I did not expect at all for loads of people to like it as well. And it was at 5 votes apiece for ages. And I was like, I need to post another update, but I don't want to do it without a proper winner. So I posted in Discord, and I was like, can someone please vote between Johnny and Jagger and just turn the tide? And a couple of people said they were going to do it, but they didn't end up doing it because without saying anything, just like an absolute like badass, Tim just went over into the update and just commented Johnny, and then Johnny was his name, and that was just really cool. So yeah, Johnny won that one, and Tim was the reason why. So thank you very much. Next, we have Ed, who backed for the base pledge. Thank you very much, Ed. We have Stacy, who backed for Food Time, Battle in Space, plus blockers. Thank you very much. Then we have Darren, who backed for a generous tip. Thank you very much. How do you pronounce that name? Aliska? Aliska. Either way. Alyska. If you're in the chat, then please let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you very much. Backed for the base Food Time, Battle in Space pledge. So thank you very much. Next, we have Conrad, who backed for Food Time, Battle in Space ×2. Thank you very much, Conrad, and thank you for the adjust as well. I'm not going to mention how much, but just to help bump me along as well. That was very appreciated. We'll just bump the campaign along and just try and make it the best it can be, because that was back when the pledges, the stretch goals were monetary based, so people were more inclined to pledge more than the actual levels, especially if they thought that the value was higher than what the pledges suggested. Then we have Brian. Brian is the husband of Kara the Blonde Unicorn, who actually reviewed the blockers, so that's really cool. He has, I think he's pledged at £1 for the no reward. I think every single one of my campaigns. So that's very appreciated, Brian. Thank you very much for the continued support. Next, we have a very, very special pledge. They're all equally special, but all in their own way. And this is someone which I can actually talk about quite a bit, because I've gotten to know him quite a bit over the past month or two. It's Brendan, sorry. I got the E and the A wrong way around. Brendan, thank you very much for the base Food Time, Battle in Space pledge. Brendan is the designer behind a bunch. Well, first of all, I didn't realize this. A bunch of real life escape rooms in London, but also of the 2 escape room esque, which makes sense now. 2 escape room esque games. Stop the Train and Hit the Silk. Hit the Silk is still currently live on Kickstarter, so if you want to go check it out, please do. I backed at the Stop the Train and Hit the Silk pledge, which I can't remember how much that is. It's not actually that expensive for the quality of games you get. The 2 social games, which I don't have very many of, and I definitely don't have very many of that can fit a lower player count, which is what these games can do. And the art is just incredible, and the games are just incredible, so please check out those games. Anytime I get a chance to shout about Brendan, I do. Then we have Mark for the base Food Time, Battle in Space pledge. Thank you very much. Next we have Henrik, who was the reason behind the Food Time Battle in Space print and play tier being added into the game, and he, funnily enough, backed at the print and play tier version. Actually, before the print and play update went out, he must have been looking at that like a hawk. So thank you very much, Henrik. I do appreciate that. Yeah, the print and play will be. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I don't know if I'm just going to make it available in an update or whether I'm going to message every individual backer. I will probably. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But either way, you will be able to download the print and play version, and you'll be able to print it out and play it. Funnily enough. So yeah, then we have Peter, and we also have PK Games or Pete Games, who both backed for a generous tip. Thank you very much. Then we have Thierry, who backed for £15. Thank you very much for that as well. Where is the next one? Okay, there we are. Yeah, it gets difficult to find where the pledges are because after the first week or so, it became to the point where there was more comments because of the updates than there were pledges. So that's quite cool, actually. I'm actually at the time where the Johnny and Jagger debacle was happening. But yeah, Alian, thank you very much for the no reward pledge. I do appreciate it. Then we have John, who backed at the irregular pledge for Food Time Battle in Space. I've just realized that I will have to message backers individually because the print and play version was at £5 or higher, so I can't just stick it on the Kickstarter, unfortunately. But the tabletop version is free for anybody to play. Just search Food Time Battle in Space on Tabletop Simulator, and you can play that for free right now if you want to. So yeah, now we got Nicholas. So Nicholas is actually really interesting. I will say both his pledge and his adjust in one go. But thank you very much, Nicholas, for your pledge for Food Time Battle in Space plus Become a Critic. Nicholas is a really cool guy. He is actually a pledge to that level to get. I'm not going to say specifically who it is because it might be private. But it's for someone else, like the pledge level. Like he's going to get a portrait of someone else as a gift added into the game, and he was worried that the portrait would only be available in one copy, in his specific copy. So it was something which I added to the FAQ after. If you haven't seen, yeah. So your portrait will be, if you backed at the portrait pledge, that will be in every single game. And he was worried because he wanted to get multiple copies of the game. So that's why I mentioned his adjust as well. Next, we have Adam, who backed for no reward. Thank you very much, Adam. I do really appreciate it. Thank you. Then we have Via Gia, who backed for a generous tip. Thank you very much, Via Gia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I do really appreciate it regardless. Next, we have Reese, who backed for Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers. Thank you very much. Then we have Snarknado. What a great name. What an amazing name, actually. Probably one of the best names. But every name's equal as well at the same time. Who backed at the base pledge for Food Time Battle in Space. Thank you very much. Next, we have Christopher, who backed, second person, who backed for Food Time Battle in Space ×2. I think the second person, maybe the third person. Then we have Gary Chavez. Gary Chavez is amazing. He is an amazing designer. He is behind Saints and Scoundrels, a great little board game. I think you can go buy it if you just search up Saints and Scoundrels or Gary Chavez. That's why I say his full name, because it might be easier to search up his name. But he is an amazing designer. We met one time on a sort of like designers / crowdfunding people think tank that I did with C Forever Games. That was a long time ago. When was that? In fact, it must have been in the summer of last year. It's not that long. It just feels that long because of COVID. But I think it was in the summer. They brought me on because I was someone who ran a failed and a successful campaign back to back. And so they wanted to ask for me insights on that. And I met him there, and that's been really cool. And we added each other on Facebook, and it's just really cool interacting with him every now and again. Then we have another Adam. Thank you very much. Adam H, I will say, if to differentiate it. Backed at the Food Time Battle in Space pledge. Thank you very much. The base pledge. Next, we have Tony, who backed a Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers. Thank you very much. By the way, I will mention, because I've noticed this as I've been going along, some people who I mentioned do end up cancelling their pledge. If you pledged or cancelled your pledge, you still contributed to the campaign at some point, still adding that interactivity. I'm not sure how cancelling a pledge affects the rankings. It might be good, it might be bad. But either way, you did pledge at some point and you were part of the community at some point, so I will still mention your name. But yeah, Tony backed Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers. Thank you very much for that. Morgan backed Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers as well. Thank you very much. Stephanie backed for Food Time Battle in Space the regular pledge. Then we have another Alex as well, not the same Alex as before, who backed for the print and play. Thank you very much, Alex. I am very glad that Henrik, it was, suggested the print and play version, because for some reason I just thought, no, why would anybody want a print and play version? But I didn't realize there was like this huge community of people that love print and play. Like it's not that they are replacing your version of the game with a print and play version. It's like the only print and play versions. So part of the joy of the board gaming experience for people in that community is actually printing out the cards and cutting them out and making the box themselves and doing all sorts and just making the actual game. They love the actual crafting element of it. And that's not something which I realized, and I wish I realized earlier. Because it's just a community of people that I'm needlessly alienating. So, yeah. Anyway. John, thank you very much for the pledge for the print and play version as well. And I will mention this because I mentioned Maverick before, but thank you again, Maverick, because he's just popped up again because he adjusted his pledge to increase it. So thank you very much, Maverick, again. And then we have Nathaniel. Nathaniel, even though he joined the campaign quite late, we're on March 20th now out of March 20, and it finished on March 28th, so just 8 days ago. Even though he joined late, he backed at the Food Time Battle in Space £15 pledge, base pledge. By the way, he has been very, very, very vocal and very active in the community. So obviously, thank you very much, Nathaniel. Thank you for everyone again. But it was so cool to see that he joined so late. Yeah, he just sort of embraced the community and got involved straight away. Next, we have Deanie. Thank you very much for the base pledge. Same with Brenane. Breanai, double N. That's a lot of N's. Briannian. Sorry, I'm not going to butcher it anymore because you might get offended, but I do apologize. But thank you very much for the Food Time Battle in Space base pledge. Next, we have Nicholas J. Thank you very much for the £15 base pledge. I do really appreciate it. We're getting close now to the actual final few backers because the amount of backers between I can probably look this up. I will look this up. Where can I look this up? I'll drag that down here. Let me just look it up. Let me see how many backers we got in the last. Let me just close some stuff as well because it's probably making us lag quite a bit. Close that. Close that. Close that. There we go. That might be quite helpful. If we just load this up here. It's weird that the campaign's over. It just feels really, really odd that the campaign's over. Does that make any sense? Like just seeing the timer not counting down, not refreshing it constantly is a really weird feeling. But in the last 2 days, we went from 86 backers to 102, and from day one until 2 days before, we went from 50 backers to 86. So it's a very, very close similarity in numbers, but one was 2 days and one was 26 days. So that's really, really weird. But yeah, anyway, back to it. So we've got a lot to go despite only having 3 days to go. So, not that I'm complaining. I love showing my appreciation to everyone. Next, we have David. Thank you very much for the base £15 pledge. I do really appreciate it. Then we have Christian. Thank you very much for the no reward pledge. I do really appreciate it. Then we have, again, a generous tip by Mizine. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Thank you very much. You can tell my throat's going. I'm just been talking so much. Then we have Andrea, who backed at the base pledge. Thank you very much, Andrea. I do really appreciate it. I also really appreciate Brian as well. Brian, maybe, who pledged for Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers. Again, someone else supporting us by getting blockers as well as Food Time Battle in Space, which is really good on our end because we have stock of blockers, and it's almost like we're just getting extra funding for the game, which will make the game even better, but we don't actually have to put anything into it. So we don't have to worry about costs in that regard. So we can just sort of take all the money from the blockers pledge and just funnel them straight into the game without having to give money to anybody. So that's been really cool. And now then we have Stephanie Star 418 backing at the base pledge. Thank you very much. Then we have Darren backing the base pledge as well. Thank you very much. And then we have Caitlin. Caitlin is actually the artist working. She actually helped us get to our stretch goal. This was the pledge that got us to the stretch goal for the 2,350 stretch goal for these 4 additional crates. It's now, I nearly said 6 because it's now the 6 additional crates because we reached our final 100 backer stretch goal right at the end then, which is still mind-blowing. But she's the artist for our next game. I'm not talking about it in detail yet because obviously this campaign has just ended. I don't really want to talk about the next game when you guys haven't even got this game, so I'm not going to mention very much about that. But she backed for the print and play pledge plus a little bit more to get us to that stretch goal. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Next we have Foul Play Games. I recommend checking them out. I'm not actually very familiar with their products, but I will get to know them and I will reach out to them because I just love talking to people in the community. So thank you very much, Foul Play Games, for backing at the base pledge. Then we have Matthew, who backed at a generous tip. Thank you. Then we have Nathan, who backed at the base pledge for the game. Thank you very much. Then we have Dave, who backed for no reward. Thank you very much, Dave. Followed by Dean, who backed at a generous tip. Thank you very much, Dean. Then we have Cassie, who backed for £15 for the base pledge, Food Time Battle in Space. Same with Shark Thoven or Shark Toven, something like that. Thank you very much for the £15 pledge. £15 Food Time Battle in Space base pledge. Thank you very much. Then we have Mean Book, who backed at the same base pledge. Thank you very much. Followed by Tom, who backed for a generous tip. Thank you very much. Then we have Sammy. Sammy is one of my friends who backed, one of the people who I called upon to help us get to that 100 back number. Thank you very much, Sammy. I do really appreciate it. Then we have Bethany. Bethany is someone who actually I am probably going to get to know because she reached out to me on Twitter and also LinkedIn. So thank you very much for the Food Time Battle in Space plus blockers pledge. I do really appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking to you in the future. Then we have Isabella Gallego. I know that is that is just one name, by the way. That's not a first and not last name, though it might be, but that's just no spaces, just one name. This is someone which I've actually been in contact with over a few years, actually. We go way back because it was back when I was making a website, which I don't know if it's still up, but you can check it out. It's called reviewgraphs.com. Let me see if it still exists. Reviewgraphs.com. Does it still exist? It does still exist. Interesting. Okay, so this is a website I was working on years and years and years ago because I love spreadsheets. In the comments right now, you can go say hi to them in the comments. But yeah, we're working on review. Oh, I was working on review graphs for a while on because I love the idea of seeing how a show would be really, really good in the first few seasons and decline, or maybe shows that would be really bad and then increase in their ratings on IMDb. So what I used to do is I used to go on IMDb pages because I didn't know how to code at the time and just copy and paste ratings from each episode, stick them in a spreadsheet, and And then I just put them on. I make a graph and I put it on the website, and it actually got quite a lot of traction. But my friend here, reverse Turing test on the old on YouTube and pretty much everywhere. I think that's handle anyway. Came help. Well, actually replied to me on a Reddit thread because they said that they could help with some things with the site, such as like I didn't even have like a search bar. Like if you wanted to search for a specific show, there was no option for that at all. So they helped me with that, which is something I'm really thankful for. And we just stayed in contact ever since, really. So that's been really cool. So yeah, thank you very much. Right, okay, and we are nearly at the end now. We've got 2 more. So we've got Jeff Lee. Thank you very much, Jeff, for the £1 generous tip. I do really appreciate it. And finally, we have someone who's a bit of a celebrity. I'm Totally Normal, which is the name, not just me saying something about myself, who pledged for the regular base game. You can find I'm Totally Normal on Twitch. He's a great guy. I'm probably going to be doing some live streams with him at some point, playing Food Time Battle in Space, as well as the game which I alluded to earlier, the new game which we're working on, because he's just got a really cool live stream, and he's only a small streamer, but I do recommend checking him out. Just I'm Totally Normal on Twitch. Thank you very much for coming in clutch at the end with the back as well. But yeah, so that is it, guys. That is all 102 backers, as well as some people which unbacked. But we ended with, here's some less important stats. We ended with £2,472 pledged, 164% funded, so 64% overfunded, which is just a really cool thing to think about. But the most important thing is that we had 102 backers in our community, which is really, really cool. Now, what I'm going to do is that if you haven't already, I would recommend 100%. What am I going to say? I would 100% recommend, without a doubt, checking out the Discord. I would, if you are not part of the Discord, the Crab Studios Discord, then 100% check it out and consider joining, because we have a lot of fun there, and that's where we're going to get the most up-to-date information and also just opportunities to play test. Because now the Food Time Battle in Space is done, I've spent the last 2 months, because of the cancellation of the, I'll leave a link in the chat, by the way, the link's down in the chat. I spent the last 2 months like just focused solely on marketing and social media, and of course the Kickstarter. So I haven't had time to playtest anything really. I mean, I've playtested a few little things here and there, just little tiny games like micro games and stuff like that. Just games which you can have a little bit of fun with, but mainly for myself. I might end up putting one on Kickstarter at some point. Who knows? But we're going to get back straight back into like sort of the businessy, like this is a playtest. Please provide feedback and also have fun, of course. But that's Discord is where you're going to see all of those opportunities, and also we're going to be doing some game nights at some point, I'm sure, and I'm going to work on the sort of community aspect a bit more on the Discord. I'm going to set up like some looking for groups, a looking for group chat if people want to play together, absent of me, absent of anybody, any staff or anybody like that, if they just want to run their own thing. But I'm pretty sure that's it. I kind of just don't want to leave the stream because I'm just so... I don't know if I've got my gratitude toward, like, I don't know if I've said enough, you know. But I will leave you here so I don't end up rambling. But if you want to check out my video on YouTube after this, just saying thank you again. I did a walk in the park earlier, and I just worked out my phone and just decided to do a thank you video. Then I would I'm gonna unlist it now. Okay, it's unlisted. I'm gonna make it public, and you can check that out. But other than that, that's it. So thank you very much. Join Discord. I will be doing another Kickstarter update probably within the week. I don't want to spam people, especially now the Kickstarter's over. But it's on the up and up here now. We've got the pledge manager coming up soon. Shortly following that, it'll be manufacturing time. So I'm just really excited for you guys to get your games. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Niall from Crab Studios, and yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.